we can just run this module now. Doing a brute force, we'll try and match each username to each password until they authenticate. It's going to take a bit of time depending on how big your word lists are. And we've got a match.
Imagine a world where every time you remotely access a server, your sensitive data is exposed. That's the reality without the use of SSH.
Secure Shell or Secure Socket Shell is a network protocol for securely accessing and managing devices over a network. It encrypts data to protect against eavesdropping, interception, and attacks.
SSH enables tasks like file transfers, remote command execution, and secure tunneling. It is used by IT professionals around the world for secure system administration and troubleshooting. By default, it runs on port 22.
From Linux to Windows, what SSH servers are you going to see? OpenSSH is very popular. It's been used on Linux machines and Windows machines from Windows 10. And it also comes shipped in BSD. Dropbear is another one and is considered for environments with low memory and processor resources and comes shipped in OpenWRT. PuTTY is a Windows implementation of SSH. The client is commonly used, but the server's use is rarer. Another implementation of SSH for Windows is COP SSH.
So we now know what it is and some different implementations, but how do you authenticate to it as a service? In high security environments, it's common to use key-based or a two-factor authentication mechanism instead of using a simple password authentication. All are available authentication methods. However, it's common to see stronger ones enabled without first disabling the weaker ones. A common issue is enabling public key authentication in OpenSSH by default, but then forgetting to disable password-based authentication.
Some systems have flaws in the random seed used for generating cryptographic material, leading to a smaller key space that can be brute forced. Pre-generated keys from Debian systems with weak PRNGs, pseudo-random number generators, are available at Debian SSH, link in the description. Use this resource to search for valid keys for the target machine.
Okay, let's talk about some common misconfigurations when setting up an SSH server, because as testers, we love those things. So the first one that comes to mind is not disabling root login when setting up this SSH server, and this provides a threat actor with an opportunity to brute force a user account and achieve root administrative access. Okay guys, a common SFTP setup issue occurs when an administrator wants users to log on and send files to other users, but they don't give them remote command execution, so no shell is given to them. If you guys are curious about SFTP, you can check out our video about FTP that we did. It will be linked in the description below. Even if the users are assigned a non-interactive shell, like the no logging shell, they can bypass this by specifying the command bin bash tac-i, which will open a bash shell and allow them to use interactive commands. Another misconfiguration is being able to tunnel traffic through an SFTP server. This should be disabled in the etc SSH SSHD config file.
During a test, when you get onto a target machine, you can find SSH configurations in the following files. Before we get started with the demo, it is important to note that these concepts and techniques are for educational purposes only. Do not use them with malicious intent and have fun using them where you have permission to do so. Okay, so to start out, we're going to use Netcat to do a banner grab. So what we'll do is we'll set it up and it'll interact with the service over a listener. Just copied in the IP address. Let me just neaten it up a bit. There we go. Right. Now I just need to specify the port. And there we go. You get the version and the banner of the service. Okay. So now that we've got a good idea of what version is running, let's do an nmap scan to see if we can find a bit more information. So let's type in nmap. I'll copy in the IP address there, specify the port, and let's do an aggressive scan. Also probably a good idea to run this as sudo. Okay, it'll ask me for my password, type that in, and we get results. So we can see SSH open on port 22, running OpenSSH 4.7, the operating system Linux 2.6. So let's get some more information about the SSH that is running here. Nice tool to use is SSH audit, very easy. Just type it in, IP address, and hit enter. So you can see a bit of red text here, so good sign that this is an old version, which we know it is, but it'll do another banner grab that there. You can see there's a lot of key exchange algorithms, host key algorithms, encryption algorithms, ciphers. There's a lot of outdated stuff here, which is good. You can see also that it could be possibly vulnerable to the logjam attack. Nice finding to have in your report. Go down and see the rest of the results. Sometimes this tool is actually good enough to actually produce CVEs as well, telling you what exploits it could be vulnerable to. So let's try and open MSF console, do a quiet. We used Hydra to brute force the FTP service in our last service video. Let's try use something different. We can use Metasploit as well for SSH. We just have to wait for it to start. There you get a prompt. Let's search for SSH login. That is the module that we would like to use. And we see use 0. Let's set the R hosts because it's a common setting for most Metasploit modules. Setting the R host to our target server IP address. Just copy that. Paste it in there. Nice. Right, now let's see what options we've got to work with here. Okay. Let's see, we can set our password file to, well, a file that I've made for this video, pass.txt, and then we can set a user file for the user list. These are in the current directory that you ran MSF from. We can set that, and
we can just run this module now. Doing a brute force, we'll try and match each username to each password until they authenticate. Running, it's going to take a bit of time depending on how big your word lists are. And we've got a match.
MSF admin, MSF admin. It's quite simple. So let's try and start a session now that we've got this. Session TAC I1. Could start the first session that we've got. Obviously there's a spelling mistake. Just add an S there. And we can log in like this. There we go. We've got our session. We just specify bin bash tac I to try and upgrade our shell. And we can run that. And there we go. We type who am I, and we are running MSF admin. Fantastic.
And there you have it, guys. SSH in a nutshell. I hope you guys learned something today. And if you did, a like and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated. If you guys haven't seen our FTP video, it'll be linked now on the screen. And with that, happy hacking, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.